Hello, YouTube audience. How are you guys doing? It has been a minute. Am I coming in hot? Oh man, I totally forgot how to do everything. So forgive me. There's going to be a lot of there goes my chair. There's going to be a lot of probably boomerisms today because I've been out of it a little bit and well, not out of it, off the grid. So I just got to make sure, like, am I not muted? Am I hearing things okay? Oh my gosh, all the things. I didn't realize how many pieces in this puzzle have to be laid out properly for this to work until I started prepping for this stream this morning. And I was like, oh geez, I got to do this. I got to click this. I got to make sure this window is on. So it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride getting back into it, but I'm super excited to be back here. I've been off the grid, like I said, most of last week, pretty much all of last week. So I didn't post anything, even though I knew that I had some things backlogged, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, we were out of town, doing some traveling. Kids were on spring break, so we had some time, some family time, and a couple crazy things happened to some close friends of ours. So that kind of threw everything for a loop and really got my mind, put me in a different spot. I'll definitely say not all good. But yeah, just it was time to kind of step back and regroup and unplug a little bit. So that's good. It was all great, and the trip was great, but re-entry has been a little bit of a readjustment. But I knew I had to stream. I knew I had to get back into it. It's kind of like learning how to ride a bike again, or jumping back into a swimming pool, a very, very cold YouTube swimming pool. But yeah, so yesterday it was, I was on Shant's stream. Shant's been streaming a lot recently, so that's been fun. So it's good to kind of get back into the chat and start communicate again. But as I saw all the familiar friends and names that are usually there and in his streams and that crossover to mine, I was like, dang it, I want to stream again just so I can reconnect with everybody and start talking comics again. So who was here first in the chat? Wait, how do I do this? There we go. Comrade Sammy, it's good to see you, my friend. I hope you're well. Hope you got some rest. I know you were a little sleepy yesterday on Shant's stream because Shant is so boring. No. But it was good to see the chat ninja lurking around, floating around, and to see you come into this stream again. It's like going back to work after a vacation and seeing friends and catching up. So awesome to see you here. And also, Emo Trash, once again, Semi here. That's okay. We'll take you, Semi, here. We are all fully happy that you're here, even though you're Semi here. Yeah, just seeing you talk about your classes a little bit. Class early this morning and then spiraling into insanity over an essay. I am so sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know, like schoolwork, assignments, projects. It's a huge stress out. But if I'm not mistaken, you're in college, and like I had mentioned in the chat, just enjoy it. It's really fun. You'll never have that time unless you perpetually stay in school the rest of your life. You won't have that time, and there's a lot of great experiences. I'm kind of starting to see it through my kids' eyes as far as them heading in that direction and just remembering my own experience in college. And there's goods and bads in it, but for most part, I really enjoyed my college experience. And just the friends that you get to meet, some of them become lifelong friends, like Shant and I. Who would have known when I first met him that 30 plus years later we would be doing this? We'd still be friends. We'd still be talking about very similar things that we talked about back then. And we'd be a lot older, hopefully a lot wiser. And yeah, just totally different space. But those friendships were really seeded in college. And I have quite a few other friends like that from college who, lifelong friends. So fear not, all the essays, all the late nighters, it's worth it. It's worth it in the end. Emo Trash says, doesn't help that I've had other things going on at the same time. Can't wait to get past the core class requirements so I can work on what my degree is actually for. That's true. I mean, there's all those little those check boxes of like, oh, well, I got to have X amount of credits for this class and this class. So, yeah, I get that. And then hopefully once you hit your major, it'll just be really fun and exciting and all that kind of stuff. So it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. He woke up and had to plug himself back. I know it's rough. And I will be totally honest with you guys. When you step back from it, and I was kind of grinding, I mean, this is all still relatively new to me, but you got to grind a little bit at the beginning, just setting things up, getting into the rhythm, figuring things out when you're going to stream, when you're not going to stream, when you're going to record videos, edit videos, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot. On top of, everyday life and a job and all this kind of stuff. So it's a lot to figure out. And when you step back from it, you realize how much you're doing, how many pieces you're kind of juggling. And then to get back into it, you're like, ugh, it's gonna be late nights again. Really, I gotta do all that late night. Like I was editing some videos last night, and I was like, I didn't have the rhythm of staying up super late because I was kind of on vacation time, and so I was trying to stay up last night. And I was like, oh my gosh. And once you step into it, it's kind of like you're on the train again, and there's no end in sight. So you do kind of hesitate. I'm like, do I need to do this again? But like I'd mentioned yesterday, just being on Sean's stream and seeing the chat and seeing all the familiar names, I was like, yeah, I need to do this again. It's really fun. So we're doing it. Sorry to hear that, but it's good to take breaks. Yeah, it is good to take breaks. I mean, we all know that, right? And last week kind of started off with a bang of, not to go into too much details, but it was pretty rough. Some, have some friends going through some stuff, and so it was a rough start into it. And it was kind of good that I was on break, not to be away from it, but just to be able to be present for it and to kind of readjust our mindset and just shore up things. So, but it was a little bit of a wake up call, and we're still there. Our friends are still in it. We're still in it. So yeah, we'll kind of, keep doing what we got to do and regain some sort of normalcy, but it definitely makes you take note and take stock of what's important in life and who's important and what's important for you to do and to kind of keep you going. So everybody can kind of relate to that. Emo Trash says, I would have joined the Shant stream last night, but I was preoccupied. That's all right. Shant has been getting back into a semi-regular schedule, it seems like. He's got his Pizza Live broadcast, which is really fun. I love the way that he kind of set that up and figured that out. It's really genius. And typical Shant, that's super well prepared and packaged. And then he's been streaming a lot of himself painting again and drawing again and talking about packaging and sending out his books, Nosfero, sending out those books. So yeah, it's been great to see him more active and being out there. I know he needed to take a break as well before that. So yeah, many streams, whether my own or Sean's or anybody else, are active to jump in there. Emo Trash. Comrade Sammy says, I'm doing good. Went for a walk the other day, past a ditch that someone had apparently been using as a junkyard. Bro threw a whole three... Dang. Oh my goodness. That sounds like an effort. Sometimes when I see like the effort some people go to like trash things or like get rid of their trash, it's like, that took a lot of effort for you to screw that up. So it's pretty funny. Friends? What are those? I don't need them. They disappoint me. Aw, it's all right. Friends can disappoint. It's the ones that stick around, even though they do disappoint you, that they don't abandon you, that you can have conversations with, difficult conversations with sometimes. Those are the ones that are worth it. Of course we are. Emo Trash says, Comrade Sammy, you and John plus others here are exceptions. It's my fellow college peers that have persistently disappointed me. I just can't say I have many in real life friends at the moment. It's okay, Emo Trash. I think, and again, if I am guessing your season of life properly, just based on what I know of you, you're in a season where everybody's trying to figure it out and trying to like find their path. Like college is definitely that. And you yourself are in that. So don't be too hard on yourself. You will find the people. You will find your tribe. You will find your people. The story of Shant and I running into each other, we had nothing in common other than comics and just being total nerds about them. But even our lifestyles, we were very different kind of people. We didn't necessarily have I would say most of our college life, we didn't have similar circles of friends that we hung out. Not good or bad, but it just we hung out with different circles. And he was in a different dorm than I was. But the one thing that kind of the one main thing that connected us was comics. It sounds super nerdy, but I love it. So yeah, that connected us, and look at us. I mean, our friendship is here where it is now. So you just never know. You never know. Don't write off people too easily, but at the same time, don't put too much stake on people that you're just going to be a few years with. If they're jerks, they're jerks, and move on. But you'll find your people. Mark's Music Obsession. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Hey, man, it's good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope your mom's doing well. Did you guys check out the eclipse yesterday? So I'm in California, and it wasn't, I mean, I didn't have the glasses or nothing. Usually these kind of huge events, I'm like, whatever. I'm not a big, hype person when it comes to these kind of things. But some of my family lives in Texas, and lives in the path of where it was supposed to be like a full-on eclipse. So I was kind of tuned into them prepping for it, and made me interested in it. And then yesterday, as I was working, I looked outside in my backyard, and my neighbor, they were out on their porch, and they had glasses, and they were looking up. So I was like, oh, is this happening? So I went outside. I don't have glasses, and I didn't want to burn my retina. So I was just talking to them, and they're looking at the glasses. They're like, yeah, just, don't look at it, but you can take a picture, and you can zoom in, you can kind of see it. So I was kind of sideways taking a picture with my phone, and you can kind of see it, sort of. But it was kind of funny. It was kind of this cool, uniting humanity moment a little bit where everybody was in. But then I started getting photos back from my family who could see the full eclipse, and they were amazing. It was like, wow. And they said where they were sitting, it actually got dark for a few minutes, and that would be really cool. And it made me think, man, when these kind of things happened, in medieval ages or, way back when, I can see why people freaked out, because that would be really gnarly, frightening for it all of a sudden to go dark and not understand why. So yeah, their pictures were really cool, better than I thought I would see. And, it was pretty interesting. So yeah, Mark, did you, I would have gone out on my boat if I were you, but I don't know how the eclipse was showing in Florida. But I was thinking about you when it was happening. It's like, oh, I wonder if he went out on his boat and watched it. No notification again. Oh, sorry about that, man. That stinks. Let's see. Comrade Sammy says, there was also a bed, ironing board, and it sounds like somebody was living there. Maybe it wasn't a junkyard. Maybe you stumbled across somebody's what do they call those homes? The doomsday homes. Maybe you stumbled across somebody's, or a bat cave or something. Hey, Shelby, what's up? American Discards here. Congrats on the 200. Okay, so that was one thing I was going to say. Hashtag the road to 2K. That's right. That's one thing I was going to say, which kind of threw me off. So because I was off the grid last week, I didn't post anything. And usually when I don't post anything, nothing moves the needle, right, for subscribers. I'm such a small channel right now. So you got to put out content, and it kind of generates people watching. And so I was floating around, I think it was 176 as of last week. And then I looked at my phone this morning, and I was like, wait, what? And it was 186. And I was like, wow, how did I jump 10 people already? And then literally as I was looking at it, it flipped to 190. And then it started climbing a little bit. And I'm like, this is weird. This is not normal. So I feel like YouTube, and I know Shanth had been mentioning this a couple times on his stream recently, that he felt things were weird or throttling or, followers falling off or whatever. So in a negative way on his channel. So I'm thinking like something, maybe they did an upgrade on their servers that shuffled things around incorrectly or whatever, because it didn't make any sense that the followers would jump. So at any minute, I'm waiting for it to drop back down, hopefully not lower than where I was, but I'm waiting for the YouTube algorithm to go, oh, whoops, sorry, you don't get those extra 25 people. We're going to take them away, and maybe we'll take another 25 people away. Because that's how it works, right? But yeah, I was shocked. And then, yeah, it made it over 200 this morning. And I was like, ugh, 200? Well, then I really got to stream because that's something to celebrate. So thank you, Shelby. Are you at 1,000 already? I know you're really close to 1,000. So if you are, congratulations to you. You deserve it, man. You've been doing it and cranking and putting out some great content. So I hope you are at 1,000. If not, anybody who's here who hasn't subscribed to Shelby's channel, do so. Throw the link in the chat because he's got an awesome YouTube channel. Everybody's saying hello, hello. Hey, Emo Trash, consider this group cool friends. Yeah, we're the cool guys. We're the cool friends. Emo Trash says, I don't think I'm necessarily being hard on myself. For a bit more info, I don't know what does IG mean? Instagram. No, I don't know what it means. But for a bit more info on me, I'm currently still processing having to cut someone off I was friends with for years because they started to get really manipulative. And so now the walls have been, that sounds so horrible. I'm sorry. I've been built up to people I meet as a whole for the moment. Sad to say you're going to run into that. Whoa, that was crazy. Don't ask. See, told you. Hands off the keyboard. You're going to run into that a lot, Emo Trash, and in life. So I'm sorry that you're going through that. That's kind of rough and really disappointing, but hopefully you learn a little bit more about yourself and can come out better on the other side. Comrade Sammy says, got to see 90% of the eclipse. Awesome. That's great. I think for me, I would say I was like 15%. Like, it was like just a little wedge out of the moon. Mark's Music Obsession says, we had about 85% here. It was kind of cloudy. I was completing the construction of a new rear deck on the house, so I was busy. Oh, okay. Cool. That's pretty good, though, 85%. It did get pretty dark. Nice. Yeah, here it was like really sunny. I don't know if that's just the normal season that we're in or if it had anything to do with the positioning of the planet for the eclipse and blah, blah, blah. But it was really bright. So, yeah, we didn't see any change in the darkness here. Still have dibs on being the first paid member when the time comes. You're awesome. Thank you for saying that. That makes my day. American Discord, Shelby says, I stream and lose 5 subs. Go radio silent for a week and gain 40. Okay, so maybe the message is we need to not stream as much and not work so hard, and then we'll get more people. I don't know. It's weird. I'm about 5 from 1K. I'll celebrate at 1,200. LOL. Safe pillow number for the jokesters who will unsub at 1K. There you go. That's a good idea. Give yourself that 200 subscriber cushion. But you are close, and that's super exciting. Awesome work. Sorry to hear that, Emo Trash. Come visit me, and I can hang out. I got your back, girl. Oh, that's sweet. Hey, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 is here. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Sorry, filing something away for maybe later. All right, awesome. Well, thanks everyone for showing. Oh, we got a new person. Not a new person, but a new person in the chat. Hey, Art and Times of Jay Ryan is here. The projection on the dome was very limited, so not everyone got to see the eclipse. The projection on the dome was very limited. Wait, did I miss something? Oh no. Are you being serious about the dome? Or are you joking about a dome? First, I thought you were making a joke like about the Vegas dome. Like it's all an illusion. But maybe you're really watching at a dome. Let me know. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I remember when I was growing up, when I was, I think, in elementary school, the whole thing was like Halley's Comet. Do you guys remember that? Or those of you who are old enough to remember that. Halley's Comet was like passing by, and everybody's like, oh, it's once in 100 years. And we had glasses and everything. We went outside during school. I think it was elementary school. And I didn't see anything. I don't remember seeing anything. I feel like it was a scam. Mr. Monkey Boy is saying hello. Yes, Rocky, this is a flat. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. All right, cool. So yeah, we are at surprisingly, we are at, as I look now, 204 subscribers. That is bananas. The number in my mind, it was always stuck at like 40. I was like so excited to get to 40. And then now we're here at 200. So that's crazy. And thank you everyone for showing up and spreading the word and subscribing. It all adds up apparently. And then if I stop streaming, I get more people. So Rocky thinks the earth is round. Incredible. I'm one of those crazy people, I always talk about movies I watched with my son, and we watched another one on, was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. And so he's on a Christopher Nolan kick, which is amazing for school. And we watched Interstellar. So that was cool to kind of see that right before the eclipse. Not that it had anything to do with an eclipse, but, space and everything. And that movie's really... I haven't seen that movie since it came out in the theaters. And I really enjoyed it when it did the first time. But watching it again and watching him kind of experience it was pretty awesome. So it's fun. It really makes you think, as most of his movies do. And I feel like the sound was mixed better for watching it at home and probably remixed on their release for streaming versus in the theaters. Because I do remember watching it in the theater and being like, this mix, the audio, the music is so loud. Like I could barely hear what some of the dialogue. And I know there was a lot of complaints about that and a whole slew of daggers thrown at Christopher Nolan as far as his mixing and Hans Zimmer's score, but it was great in watching it at home, and the music was amazing. My son really loved the music about it. Congrats on the 2. Thank you. Stream more Gem and the Holograms content. We'll get you to 3. Oh my goodness. I loved that show growing up. Well, not loved it, but I definitely watched that show. Maybe I was just starved for like animated content when I was younger. I feel like they could have made anything and I would have watched it when I was at that age. Anything that had to do with any toy and made a TV show about it. And I would have watched it, and Gem and the Holograms was one of them. Exactly. I got a lot of subs after that. No joke. It's crazy. It's crazy what we will do for subscriptions. I'm not going to do stuff for I refuse to cater to the YouTube gods for subscriptions, and they gave me a bone. I think maybe this is my theory. This is how my conspiracy theory brain works. I think they saw that my engagement as a content creator or whatever reduced significantly. Like I didn't do anything for a whole week. And so now they're baiting me with some fake subscriptions. They're like, hey, don't forget your subscribers. And now I'm like, oh, I got to produce content for the new subscribers. And it's kind of working. Like psychologically, I'm like, oh, there's new people and they're looking. And why are they looking? But that's my hunch. That's what my hunch is how I got more subscribers. Gem is great. Don't be ashamed of loving Gem. Okay. It was like the kind of punk version of like Josie and the Pussycats or something. It kind of had that feeling. All right. Whoa. My screen just disappeared. Okay. So it's awesome catching up with you guys. One of the things I wanted to do that I haven't gotten to do in a while was an unboxing. I did get something. I actually got this I got this before my vacation last week. So it's been sitting unopened for a couple weeks now. And I think I know what it is. I always kind of think I know what it is, but again, as I've mentioned before, I order too many things, and so I'm not sure which one it is. But based on the size, I think I know what it is. So yeah, I have something to unbox today, and that's one of the things I wanted to do. And then the other thing I wanted to do was to give a sneak peek of one of the videos I'm editing, working on currently. I am backlogged with my comics. The cool thing about going away, we drove down south to SoCal, and the cool thing about that was Wednesday. I forgot where we were on Wednesday, but I'm like, I wonder if there's any comic book stores around here. And I actually found a couple, and I was super excited about it. So I got to visit those comic book stores, and I found some books that I was looking forward to, and I picked up. So those I will probably talk about tomorrow, but I'm backlogged, right, a week, and I think there's some books that are coming out next tomorrow that I want to get. So I'm still trying to figure out how to time it all so that I can catch up, because I don't want to just skip and miss the books that I picked up last week. So I want to do a whole poll and all that about which books to go through. So I'll save that probably for tomorrow. I'll probably stream tomorrow again. But it was just awesome to visit a couple new stores and just talk to the comic book shop owners there. Had mentioned them that I had a YouTube channel, and just to see how different stores are set up. It's just really fascinating. One store I went to was in, it was like a combination vinyl, like vinyl records and toys and video store, video rental store, and games. It was all like jammed in one store. And their comic section was decent. I mean, it wasn't just like in a corner. It was a good size. So that was really cool. And then another store I went to, maybe later I'll look on my phone to find the photos and see if I can pull them up. But I didn't film any videos or anything from. I just took a couple photos. But the other store that I went to, so there is a store in the East Bay here, which hopefully I will be able to do a comic book store highlight on one of these days. I definitely want to go and hit some East Bay stores because they're amazing. They've got really great stores over there. But one of the big ones in the East Bay is called Dr. Comics and Mr. Games. And it's huge, and it's great selection. It's really awesome. It's been there for decades. But the store that I visited was actually after whoever started, I forgot, I think his last name was Gaines. He started Dr. Comics and Mr. Games, and then he moved down south, SoCal, and then started a new store, and that store was called Dr. Gaines? Is that what it's called? Like after his name. Whoa. And so when I was talking to the owner, he was like, "Oh, you're from San Francisco. Yeah, that's where the owner of this store is. Yeah, Dr. Kane's. His last name was Kane." So he started a store called Dr. Kane's Comic and Games. So confusing. But he was the one who started Dr. Comics and Mr. Games. So it was kind of this cool connection, and it was a neat little store down there. So yeah. So yeah, it was awesome to be able to still get comics on a Wednesday, but that just added to the pile of my backlog. So it's going to be nuts. I'll figure it out. We need our recruiter back. Always be order things. You sure that store wasn't Jay Ryan's living room? I was thinking, I had this crazy idea. I mean, so many comic YouTubers, like we have crazy collections, right? We have our long boxes, and you usually see them behind people's heads, like all their collections. I know, Shelby, you have like tons of omnibuses and, bookshelves and bookshelves of comics. And I can't even imagine Art and Times, Jay Ryan, you yourself, sounds like you have tons. But I was like, I wonder if there's some weird way we could do like a loaner exchange, like library with each. I don't know, just a crazy idea. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if we could like pass around books, but you want to take care of your books, so I don't think it would ever happen. But just, I can't imagine everybody's collections. And I'm sure there's like, I'm sure a majority of both of your guys' collection and anybody's collection, I would love to experience. So, so yeah, I think that's part of the whole thing of comic book collecting is being able to catch up with all the stuff you have. I have stacks and stacks of books that I have not gotten through. I'm barely making it through my current books as opposed to all the things that I've collected over the years. One of the places I went to on our vacation, I went into this amazing antique store, and I also love children's books. I used to collect a lot, a little bit less now, but I used to collect them a lot. And they had this huge section of children's books, like little golden books. They had a huge section, not a huge section, but a semi-huge section of like comic books, old comic books. I didn't get anything there, but it was just awesome to like go through it and look through it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to have like an antique store when I grow up with all my stuff that I've never looked at? Chainmail group. Yeah, something, right? Somebody's got to figure this out. I'm going to have to ruminate on this. It's got to be like an exchange program, like pen pals or something with comics. A book club. Exactly. A book club, but yeah, something. I don't know. Because I'm sure there's books I want to read that I don't want to own. I don't know. There's something there. All right, let me get to the unboxing. We'll keep thinking about that. All right, camera set up. Woo. See, I'm out of breath now. I realize how much I talk to do these kind of things. And here we go. I've been out of practice, and that's why I'm out of breath. All right, so not the most exciting box. It's not really an unboxing. It's an unenveloping. Let me. This is the exact kind. This, along with my comic sleeves, is the exact kind of material my cats will tear up and chew on, and then almost die because they'll choke on it. Oh yeah, that's what I thought it was. Here we go. Okay, Star Wars Underworld. Why would I pick this up, you might ask? Comrade Sammy says, $5. This is a comic book. You are right. Oh, boy. Why would I pick this up? Well, this series is called the Yavin Vassilika. And the reason why I picked this up was the artwork, which is usually the reason why I pick up most books. Oh, look, David Stewart is the colorist on this. This came out in 2000. Art and Times J. Ryan says, cats love rubbing their gums on stuff. My cat likes eating this. He will chew this and eat it. I will see like puncture holes in this, like anywhere. If I put it in a trash can that's not covered. And here, I'll show you guys this. I can't tell you how many books and plastics were ruined. Look at this. So this book, like it's on a shelf vertically because it's a large size book, and it's at the bottom of my bookshelf because it's so large. But look at and it's in this nice plastic, right? And so he can reach it. And look at that chew marks. And the problem is yeah, it sucks that he destroys this bag, but his chew marks also get onto the book inevitably because he's just chewing at it. But this is what I'm dealing with. And I find these all over the place. Anywhere that I have exposed comics or bags like that, he'll chew on it. Or and how many times do you get packages like from Amazon or whatever in this kind of material, this like Mylar material? And so, we'll pull them in. I'll get them from the front step and put them down on our table. And then the next thing I know, I come back and like there's like I see bite marks in the corners. Such a butthole. So and that stuff's pretty dangerous for him to eat. Like some of those envelopes have that like self-sticky, like if you're going to return in that package and you pull off the self-sticky thing to reveal the sticky part. And if he eats that, like that's not coming out easily. So such a butthole. Carlos Meglia, I get it. Nice. Yes. Okay, so the reason why this book, where'd it go? So I was looking through my old collection. It was some of these books that I had brought back from my childhood home. And I ran across this book that I had in my collection. And I was like, why did I have this issue? I didn't even remember buying it or whatever. And then I looked through it and I was like, oh, this is why. Because of Carlos Meglia's artwork. He has such a cool, like super stylized style. And he's a Spanish artist, if I'm not mistaken. And his style reminds me a lot of Humberto Ramos, who was huge in the Image days. And I think that either he was a contemporary, maybe some of you guys know, either he was a contemporary with Ramos or he preceded Ramos. I have a feeling he preceded Ramos, and Ramos was very influenced by his stuff. But I've always loved how stylized he is. So when I saw this issue, and this was the only issue I had, I was like, oh, I wonder, did he draw the rest of that series? And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, they have a graphic novel and they compiled it. So I was like, let me try and find it. And I found it. And that's what this is. Emo Trash says he just wants it. Yeah, no, I think it's like he's got some condition. I've heard people say pica before, but like he just has to chew on something. Like he has a deficiency in something that makes him want to chew on plastic and rubber bands and elastic. It's annoying. Cords. It sounds kind of funny, but like it makes our lives a little bit more complicated just to have knowing that like you can't have things down on the ground that he will chew on. Superman Infinite City by Carlos Meglia was great. If you don't have it, check it out. I have heard of that. I don't have it. And yeah, I think that is the next thing I'm going to be looking at. I think one of my favorite artists, Jason Pearson, I believe. Oh no, that was a Tarzan thing. I think that was a Superman Tarzan thing. I don't know if that's the same one. Art and Times of J. Ryan, but I remember Jason Pearson did a cover. I think it was like a Superman Tarzan crossover, and I loved it. And then I saw the artwork inside. I'm like, oh wow, plastic. Well, guess cat needs to move outside. I know. I've told my cat a million times. I'm like, if you like, both of my cats have never seen a hard day in their lives. Like literally have never seen a hard day in their lives. They're so pampered. They're so spoiled. They're overweight. We let them out. I let them out in my backyard sometimes, but they would not survive a night. And I told them that. I said, if you weren't so darn cute and so affectionate, you would be dead. You would be dead now. You should know that just by choosing to have cats around, you've lost the privilege of having nice things. It's true. It really is true. But they're kind of part of our home now. So, hot Jabba pinup cover. Yeah, I don't know who did. I don't know who did this cover. Andrew Robinson. It looks like a photo cover. Maybe it is a photo. It does look like a photo cover. This is not a painting. But I thought Andrew Robinson, maybe I'm getting confused with another Robinson, was a painter. Carlos passed in, 2008. He was born in the late 50s. Okay. I didn't realize he was so that old from the 50s, but I did know that he passed away. So, Star Wars underwear. You would probably really love Francisco. Yes. I do know of Francisco Herrera's stuff. Yeah, those guys kind of all live in the same world. So yeah, this is cool. This is cool that it's all compiled in one. It's just really nice, like very angular and like just style out of the wazoo of how he's designing stuff. But yeah, really angular and edgy, and this is why it reminds me of Humberto Ramos, like these huge, thick fingers, very exaggerated facial features in a design sense. It's cool. It's Han Solo. Yeah, I haven't read. I haven't looked at the first issue since I just brought this book home. That's great. It's like super hard angles. I love that stylization. I think that there's so many art, at least currently in comics. I mean, the Image 90s was so much about style to the point where like it was just all style all the time. And that's what I grew up on and loved. And, you know, I definitely grew up on like 80s stuff and then 90s stuff, but definitely Image like seared into my comic heart, just all the style. But I feel like currently comics, most of the artists that are popular now, that are the hot artists now, they have style to them, but they're very like realistic. And you don't see many artists going this route where it's super stylized. I feel like we're missing some of that. I know like Scotty Young, maybe you could put in this category. He's not really working on a mainstream book though. This is fun. And then when you go this stylized with the art, the colors too can take it, you know, go push it more in that direction as well. Dave Stewart. Yeah, Dave Stewart. It's great. That guy's always consistently good. But look at Lando's like beady eyes. Look at his nose. I love that. It's really cool. And then artists that tend to go super stylized, like they always feel like, oh, it looks too animated. Like there's some artists that they have like an animated style, which sometimes works for comics, can work for comics. Sometimes I feel like, it just looks like an animated thing. It doesn't feel like a comic book. I feel like Bruce Timm is probably, in my mind, the artist that rode that line perfectly of like, he had such a cool animated style, such a great comic style, and he understood when he pushed more in one direction over the other, depending on if he was doing something animated or doing something for comics. So yeah, I think Bruce Timm is like the king for that. Like I love all his comic work, and I love all his animated work. So I feel like he really mastered that. Hey, Cranberry Langers is in the house. Hello, Rocky. I didn't get a notification about your stream. Hey, that's you are not the first person to say that. Weirdness. It's like YouTube gave me 25 subscribers, but took away all their notifications. So 2 bits of one, take away a little bit of another. I don't know what's going on, but good to see you, man. How you been? I saw you pop in towards the end of Sean's stream yesterday, or I would have said hello, or I would have talked to you a little bit more, but I hope you are doing well, and hope life's going good. Hope you are reading more comics and prepping another review maybe, huh? Sup, Cranberry. Yeah, Mark said he didn't get one either, so I don't know what it is. Shelby says, Dark Horse was like, hey, Andrew Robinson, you draw hot women and super dynamic men in action scenes. We need you for a Jabba the Hutt close-up. So yeah, it is Andrew Robinson, right? That I thought of as far as, he's like a really good artist. I don't know, I can't off the top of my head remember what books he might have worked on, but I know he did like a bunch of covers and stuff. So yeah, this does not feel like an Andrew Robinson thing. Looks like he just took a picture from the movie and added a Photoshop texture in the background. I think the fear for a lot of artists is that they will get pigeonholed and get locked out of more serious work. So yeah, it's not funny. It's like, and I think about this for my own work, like how stylized is too stylized, and when do you hit that tipping point where you can't tell a serious story, which is a great point. Art and Times of J. Ryan. Like you can't tell a certain, let me just say a certain kind of story because your style doesn't communicate it the best, doesn't allow for that. Yeah, it's true. Like, could you tell I don't know. I mean, what's like a really serious story like Watchmen or something, or V for Vendetta? Could you tell that with a super stylized, super stylized art style? I don't know. I mean, I think like Frank Miller, maybe. I'm probably pretty biased because I love Frank Miller. He's one of my greatest of all times as far as comic book artists. I feel like he's kind of moved back and forth in that line of like he can draw. When he started off, he was drawing pretty realistic, pretty, grounded, realistic style. But then he's also gone super stylized with like Sin City and 300 and even, Ronin, even he was kind of pushing away already. Even Dark Knight Returns, he was kind of like moving out of how realistic he was in the early Daredevils and going into a more stylized thing. So that's a tough line. And some of the stories he's told in comics have been the most serious and like huge gravity of what's going on in the characters and what's going on in the world, and the stakes are high. So yeah, I know it just depends. It depends on the artist, depends on the story. But I can't think of many artists right now that have that super stylized, mature. Like Sam Keith was one, but I haven't seen much work from him recently. Yeah, I don't know. It's a different animal, and where comics are right now, it's very different. Cranberry Land just saying hello to everybody. I didn't get a notification either. Oh wait, I was here before it started. Were you just there? You didn't even need a notification. She's just always there. Comrade Sammy's always there. Cranberry Langer says, I'm doing pretty good. Planning on moving. Oh, wow. Are you moving far? Or just moving to a new place? That's a big thing. Got a bike. Nice. That's great. Sean's buffering glitching is driving me crazy. Is he's not streaming now, is he? Yeah, I know he's had some of those crazy issues. But he says he's plugged into Ethernet, so I don't know what's going on. I blame Rhode Island. Dan Panosian's new style is directly influenced by Andrew Ron. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, Dan Panosian, some of his recent stuff, holy moly. Dan Panosian, it's funny because when I was first introduced to his work was during the Image days when he was like inking people and did a few fill-in issues here and there. And he kind of fit into the house style of whatever book he was working on. And then I lost track of his books or like his work. I didn't quite follow him much after the 90s. But now his recent stuff that he's done in the last, like, oh my gosh, 2 to 5 years has been unbelievable. I've seen some of those Red Sonja covers he's doing and that Western book he's doing. Like, he's amazing. I met him once at a Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, randomly. I was doing an interview, or I was meeting up with an artist. His name was Mike Manley. Mike Manley worked, he helped create Darkhawk, but he also worked on a bunch of different books. He worked in animation as well. That's how I got connected with him. And he was also one of the editors on a magazine called Draw Magazine I think it was for Tomorrow's Publishing. But Draw Magazine was great because it was like insider interviews with comic book artists and artists in general. And and they would have like their bios and kind of go in depth in their careers. Just one of those great like behind the scenes books on comic books. And amazingly, he asked if he wanted to interview me for one of his issues. It was actually draw number 9. Not that I remember it. So yeah, he interviewed me because I was working on a animated web series at the time, and it was when web series were really hot, and he was a fan, and so he asked me if he could interview me. So he interviewed me. It was great. Got in the magazine, and it happened to be the issue that like Steve Rude was in it too, which was like, what? So to be in the same issue as Steve Rude is incredible. But anyway, in that all interaction with Mike Manley, I got introduced to Dan Panosian randomly at a Comic-Con, and we took a picture. I'll have to find it, but we took a picture together, and here we are. I know he won't remember me at all, but I was like, whoa, it's Dan Panosian. Nice looking art. Yeah, this is Cranberry Landers just jumping in here. This is a book I just got, Star Wars Underworld. The artist is Carlos Meglia. I think he might need to call his internet service provider and tell them about the issue. Yeah, something's going on there. Because, excuse me, because it seems like he has everything set on his end. So yeah, something must be going on there. Humberto Ramos is stylized, not very. Really? I think he's pretty stylized. I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen any of it. I haven't seen his recent stuff. I guess what is in my mind for stylized, I'm thinking of like Crimson, like when he was working on Crimson, and some of it, like his Spider-Man too. Yeah. So, but he has kind of gone up and down in stylization. Shelby says, first step to getting pigeonholed is creating a sizable body of published work for others to make that assessment, in my opinion. Any style can work on any project. Sometimes it comes down to things like colorist. Yeah, it's so true, right? And you think of like Mike Mignola, right? He's very stylized. There's not a thing that he has drawn recently that you're like, that you can't immediately recognize as Mike Mignola. But he can tell any kind of story, I think, with his style. And I think it's partially his talent, or a good part of it is to do with his talent, but also like his reputation of the kind of stories he's told. And so yeah, stylization. It's not like one size fits all with stylization, like you're saying. Mark's Music Obsession says, I know he is, Shanth is tech challenged, his words, but they can walk him through the steps to try and correct him without even coming out. Or I could help him. Nice. We're going to have an intervention, a Shanthervention for his internet. That's hilarious. It might be his computer, too. I know he was mentioning that yesterday. It might be his computer. Cranberry Langer says, yeah, pretty far another state. Wow, seriously. Wow, that's huge. Are you moving because of work? Hopefully, maybe moving closer to family or farther from family. Carlos Meglia's work, going back to this, I guess because he's from Spain, definitely has that Euro bande dessinée, Mr. Monkey Boy, style feeling to his work. It's cool. Yeah, I haven't read the whole story. I just noticed this Chewbacca. That's awesome. Like, I like it when Star Wars or stuff that is like an established IP, specifically when it's like based on a TV show or a movie, and then they do comics off of it. I love it when they go more stylized. I don't tend to I don't like the Star Wars comics that they try and make it look like the actors and try and go photoreal with it. Like, that never works for me. There was some, because then I'm like, ew, that just looks like a bad version of whatever, Mark Hamill. So it's nice to see them like almost iconify the characters for who they are and do their own spin on it. I know they've done some like manga versions of Star Wars, and I kind of like those better than the ones they're trying to make them look like the movie stars. Peace out, chat. Got to go get some food. All right. See you later, Shelby. Thanks for coming. We'll see you around. No one is hiring Sean Cheeks Galloway to tell a serious World War II story. So funny you should mention him. So Cheeks, Sean has did some work for our animation studio. It's awesome designer. Has worked in animation for a long time and comics. But yeah, he hasn't done a regular book, and it's true. His style is very cartoony. I know I follow him on social media, and he's been posting some of his like retro versions of like the X-Men or like classic characters, and they're awesome. But yeah, I haven't seen him do necessarily a serious book. I don't know if that's by choice or what, but I think he's capable. Another artist I don't know if you guys have heard of. There's another artist out there named Ben Caldwell, and he was really popular for a while. He was doing like one-shot stories and little like short stories. He had a very animated style, but it was unique and it was different. And then he started doing some children's book stuff, some like classic stories like Greek mythology. I think he did some books like that, but I don't know if he's doing any comic work recently. I think he even did like how to draw comics books. These guys are awesome. Like that version of a Jawa, that feels very Euro to me. These like bounty hunters. Really cool. His version of Boba Fett's awesome. That's a great Boba Fett. Like that's cool. That doesn't look anything. I mean, it looks like the movie, but like so stylized. But it's good. It looks like it's a cool new take on him. How exciting. Good luck with the move. I'm going to be leaving soon as well due to my lunch being up. Sorry and hi bye. That's all right. Thanks, Cranberry Landers. Good seeing you again. I will probably be streaming again tomorrow, so hopefully I'll see you then. But take care. Take care. Hope you do well today. Be careful, Cranberry. See ya, Cranberry. Ciao, everybody. So yeah, this is cool. All Carlos Meglia. I didn't look at the story. Mike Kennedy, I don't know who he is. I think he's done some Star Wars stuff before, but I'm not familiar with his work. That's a great, sorry, a little bit reflective there. A great Boba Fett. Such fun shapes. Like really hard angles. I miss that in comics. I just love how comics can, it's just all up to the imagination. It can be anything. Style, whatever. But having them all like click for the right book and the right story and the right tone and the right genre, that's the catch. Ah, this is an Andrew Robinson cover. That makes more sense. You guys see that? That makes more sense. Andrew Robinson had a very like, you could tell he was traditionally, classically trained. Like the guy could draw people and likenesses and anatomy. But then he did add his own little flair to stuff. So that makes more sense. Maybe it was mistaken. Maybe I got like a variant cover on this one. Because I don't think that's Andrew Robinson. But this makes more sense as an Andrew Robinson image. But this is cool to see the character sketches of Meglia's character sketches. Sorry, that's really bright. Yeah, that's fun. Ah, yeah, these makes more sense. These are all Andrew Robinson's. Yeah, these make more sense. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. This is a Carlos Meglia cover. Look how stylized I am. Oh, so it's off screen. Let me see if I can zoom in there because that is worth the seeing. It's a little blurry, but pretty cool. I love it. Cool. There we go. New unboxing. The Yavin Vassilika. Carlos Meglia. Underworld. And I think it was 5 issues. Came out from Dark Horse. It was relatively cheap. Not too expensive when I got it. Issues 1 through 5. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and he did this cover too, which is pretty painted looking. That's awesome. That's a cool combo of, speaking of like colorists with a very stylized artist, that's a cool combo. That adds like a lot more gravity to the drawing. Feels a lot more serious, but it still maintains the stylization and the shape. So I love that. All right, cool. So that was that. And then the other thing that I was going to do, let me see if I can get this. Mr. Monkey Boy, are you still here? Let me grab you something. Art and Times of Jay Ryan says, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I'd buy that book just for Carlos Meglia. That's exactly why I bought it. It's funny because with those Star Wars books, they have all sorts of guest artists. I know there's some regulars for sure, but they have a lot of guest artists depending on what the story is. And I don't usually look at them, but every now and then they'll get somebody that I'm like, oh, wow, that was an interesting person to ask. Like one time they did a story. I know I have it somewhere, not easily grabbable, or else I would pull it out. Yeah, not easily grabbable. But one time they got Glen Murakami, who he's worked in animation. He was kind of like Bruce Timm's right-hand man, and he did all the designs on Teen Titans, and not all the designs, but he was the lead designer on like Teen Titans and Ben 10. And so he had this like Mignola, Bruce Timm combo style. Amazing. Oh, I do have, ooh. This is a fun side note. Speaking of Glen Murakami, this is a sketchbook that I picked up at a con a long time ago. And he came out with a sketchbook. It actually got waterlogged a little bit because got water damage. But anyway, this is Glen Murakami. And this is his style. Like really graphic, simplified style. Like this, you can see like the Mignola influence in that. Isn't that awesome? My gosh, I haven't looked at this in a long time. But he has this like almost one line weight, super simplified, very graphic, very like geometric style, but then really influenced by like Bruce Timm and Jack Kirby. Awesome stuff. Wow, I haven't looked at this in a long time. Alex Toth. He has this like Frank White. He did this like his version of Frank Whiteley style. Who is the opposite of Glen Murakami, but look how cool that is. If he did a whole comic book like that, that'd be amazing. So yeah, this is Murakami stuff, doing some like, this is a great sketch. I haven't looked at this in a long time. This is a great sketchbook. I'm very sad it got waterlogged a little bit. But yeah, this looks like straight up Mignola influence. So the reason I bring him up is There was like a Star Wars book, and I think he did maybe a couple issues out of this one book, and I picked it up just because it was him. But it was so cool to see him draw like Han Solo and Chewbacca, Millennium Falcon, all in his style. So those are the only times that I will really pick up a Star Wars stuff, is when I really, really like the artwork. Otherwise, it's like, eh. Mark's Music Obsession says, I'm a big Star Wars fan that, like many others, is longing for a good new film. Yeah. I hope you don't have to wait too long, but I feel like you might. Just watch the old ones again. They're just so good. They're so timeless. I can watch those all day, all night. Emo Trash says, I'm back. Had to step away for a second, but my day has improved because Grandma just came home with croissants. Wow. That sounds like an amazing turn of events. There is a book I have called Working Methods. It has artists like Kelsey Shannon and Mark Schultz in it. They give all the artists the same 4-page script and it details how they interpret it. Oh, that's cool. Is that a new book? I'll have to look that up. I have a book, not exactly like that, but there is a book that Gary Martin, and I know Gary Martin streams with a bunch of CG guys quite a bit, but he came out with a book that was just about inking. I think he's re-releasing it now. I think that's what he's crowdfunding right now. But I picked it up like way before, and that one he worked in tandem with, I think, Steve Rude on it. And that one was cool because they gave the same inkers the same penciled pages, and they all did their versions of it. So you could look at how each inker would interpret it and what their style was and whatnot. So, I don't know if is Mr. Monkey Boy still here? Because I don't know if he's still here. If he pops up, I will pull out what I was gonna do. But because I have a bande dessinée that I was thinking of showing. I mean, I could show it to you guys too, but I'll give him a second to go back in here if he did. But the other thing I was going to talk about briefly was last time I streamed was the vote for which book I was going to do a closer look on. And so I put out a poll, and we took a vote. And so the poll closed at midnight, and it was really tight. And so what I was going to show you was the results of that poll. Where are we going to do this? Is it this one? Yep. All right. Here we go. Let me know. Hopefully volume is not too loud, but I'm just going to show you guys this video, which I finished editing last night. The results of the poll are in, and the winner was a tie. Guys, I had the vote open till midnight, and when I checked it right at midnight, it was a tie. There was a vote that rolled in that kind of tipped it over, but it was a little late. So if I'm sticking to the rules, it was a tie between this book, Berserker Poetry of Madness, and this book, Atari Force #1. So what do? Well, I'm going to record 2 videos and click on the links that show up right now. Hopefully it works for a closer look video on each of these books. Click, 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 click. I'll see you in those videos. Click, 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 click. So those videos, the thumbnails are not the correct thumbnails because I haven't uploaded those videos yet. I haven't finished those videos yet. But that's what happened. We tied. So I was like, shoot, how could I do this? How could I break this tie? And actually, like I'd mentioned in that video, somebody did vote after midnight because I was checking. and it did tip it the scales one way. So I could have just easily said, well, we'll go with this book because that's the one that got the most votes. But I wanted to honor everyone that voted prior to midnight, and it was a dead tie, which I hope doesn't happen again. So I actually recorded 2 videos for both of those books, and I'm still editing those. I'm going to try and finish both of them tonight so I can upload tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, 2 closer look videos. This is why I'm behind, because I had 2 videos to edit, to shoot and edit, and that is getting a lot more complicated than I was hoping these closer look videos would do, but that's okay. They're both really fun books to look at. And so for those of you who voted for Berserker, you'll get a Berserker video. For those of you who voted for, whoa, just blanked on the book. Berserker and, oh my gosh. My brain just stopped working. Atari Force, hello. For those of you who voted for Atari Force, there will be a video on that too. So, Art and Times of J. Ryan says, yeah, it's by John Lowe and Two Morrows Publishing. Oh, okay, cool. That sounds awesome. Two Morrows produced, I don't think they're around anymore, but they produced great, like behind the scenes process of making comics books. So I'll have to find that. That sounds like a great book. Mark's Music Obsession says, Berserker, yes! The After Midnight was probably me. Oh, no. Well, truth be told, it did vote in favor of Berserker. So yeah, maybe you're right. Comrade Sammy says, John is still missing. Not that I'm throwing him under the bus or anything, just an observation, nothing more. Yes, it was Atari Force. Thank you, Emo Trash. Yeah. So both of those books, the whole point of doing the closer look and the voting was so that I could focus on one book, but now I'm focusing on 2 books, so it's all right. I'm going to go where you guys vote me. Good and bad, I'm going to go. Hopefully we never have like a 3-way tie or a 2-way tie again, but so yeah. So those like I said, I'll try, and I'm going to shoot to finish editing those later tonight, and then hopefully post them tomorrow. And then tomorrow I have books that I picked up last week, but then tomorrow I'm probably going to pick up more books. So depending on how many books I picked up tomorrow, I do know there is one for sure that I want to get tomorrow, that's coming out tomorrow. I could slip that into the books that I got last week when I was out of town, and those can all be voted on. Hopefully that'll work out. If I pick up more than one book tomorrow, then I'm in trouble. Well, not in trouble, but then we'll have more than 4. Oh no, yeah. Oh, I already have 4. How's that gonna work? I'm trying to save myself here. I keep telling myself, I'm in control. I'm in control. I'm in control of how this goes out. But it's like, oh, I gotta get it on Wednesday. So it's a little nutso. Next poll, y'all strategize to make all the options. That's my greatest fear, Emo Trash, is that if I put out 4 books, they all get equal vote. And I wouldn't put it past you guys in the chat to do something like that. So that will break the system. That will break me, because I won't be able to do that. Then I'll have to go back to the way videos were, where I'm just flipping through every book. But oh well, what it is. I'm gonna listen to the, as of now, 204 subscribers that are out there, which I so appreciate. I just hope I get a push notification when you're going to start the stream. Yeah, I wonder, like, I don't know what it is. Yeah, I wish I could help you out there, man. I wish, I don't know why sometimes it lets you know and sometimes it doesn't. It's really, YouTube is really finicky like that. The things that Shant was saying as far as like followers going down, and I've seen that in views versus, I haven't seen that in subscribers yet. Again, I don't have that many subscribers, so I don't think it would make any sense to throttle my subscribers, because it'd be like, well, you lost 1. But I have seen it in views where there seems to be a difference between at least the way the analytics let us know. There seems to be a difference between overall views and current views, and I've read a few articles about that where you get like kind of a live view count, but then also YouTube will actively try and check if the subscribers and the viewers are actual people or if they're bots. And so then you'll see that view count drop, when it's like sifting out the bots, and then it'll kind of regulate and go back. I don't know if that's just their way of saying, hey, we are just gaming the system and we're doing whatever the heck we want, or if it's actually happening that way. Me being the cynical conspiracy questioner. But yeah, so I have seen that happen with views go up and down a little bit with some things. I'm like, wow, that got 90 views, and then go back and like, oh, it's at 60 now. Because I'm not producing any, what I think, controversial content. So I couldn't imagine them throttling it for one way or the other, but you never know. So yeah, hopefully Mark's music obsession, hopefully some reason why YouTube is not letting you know that I'm streaming. That wouldn't make any sense, but hopefully that gets sorted out. All right, I know Mr. Monkey Boy is not here, or not showing up in the chat. He did show, but I was going to share one more book because I'm always thinking about bande dessinée in the back of my mind just because of him. So I'm just going to do it because you guys will probably be interested in it too. And then you can tell him, hey, he did it. So this was a book, I had shared a book before when I came back from Paris called Anita Bamba. And the artist on this is a guy by the name of Cromwell. Amazing artist. If you guys remember or not. This is kind of the style of his work. Talk about stylized stuff like this. Actually, this is actually a really good example of somebody telling quite a serious, mature story. I mean, it's got its cartooniness in it for sure, but it's definitely not like that's just an animated kid style. No, it's like the real deal, but it's not realistic by any means. Very stylized, and I'd argue, in the same vein as Meglia's work. It could kind of live in that the amount of stylization that Cromwell is doing in his work is right up there with Meglia. The colors are different for sure. This definitely feels a little bit younger with the coloring, but the artwork, I'd say, is kind of like line for line feels similar. It's those Europeans. So then this was another book that Cromwell did separate from the writer of Anita Bamba. He worked with a different writer on this one, and it's called Desperadoes. And the story is kind of about like female cowboys, like Calamity Jane kind of story. And so yeah, he created this book. So this is awesome. Really cool character designs. I love this guy's artwork. I would love to see him do. I don't think he ever would. Just knowing some interviews I've read with him, he's kind of an anti-establishment, like punk rebel kind of artist. So I couldn't imagine him drawing a mainstream book, but how cool would it be if he did? Like, what if he was drawing like X-Men or, Fantastic Four or something? Like, I love his style. And this one this one is English translated, which is great. But I do have several books of his that are not English translated. He's French. And the coloring style in this is very different from Anita Bamba. I don't know if he did his own colors. Oh no, different colors. Yves Lencourt. I love these little like corner illustrations here. Seems like a very, like Sergio Aragones would do this all the time in Mad Magazine. These little corner drawings. So yeah, this was an example of bande dessinée I was thinking of sharing with Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. So you guys can all help me when he comes on and says, bande dessinée, bande dessinée. Say, you missed it, dude. It was there. Rocky obliged. Mark's Music Obsession says that 2-page inside cover is great. This one? Yeah. Can you imagine like the seeing the original of this? So good. So much mood and atmosphere. Just with ink work. It's amazing. I'm so amazed by comics all the time. Like just what you can do with comics just blows my mind. So pretty cool stuff. This guy looks like he lives in Anita Bomba's world, though. Definitely has that feel. I don't know if you guys know that book, Lucky Luke. That's a really popular European book. I know it's really huge in like Germany and I think France even. This has that Lucky Luke kind of feel to it. There you go. Desperadoes. Pretty cool. So yeah, heavy metal. Heavy metal produced some, like imported some. Yeah, they imported this one, this Anita Bomba. You can still find this one. I'm pretty sure you can still find Desperadoes too. And then they translated them into English. Yep. All right. So that's what I got. So that was it. That was cool. I mean, I thought it was cool. I'm just trying to think what else. I got a whole bunch. Like, oh, I was reading this one thing. I'll end on here. I picked up this book from the library recently, and it didn't catch me. I thought it would, but it didn't catch me. But I'll just share it here. I might do a YouTube short on this first issue of it because it's a Simon Bisley artwork. Really cool artwork. Look at that Batmobile. It's awesome. Like seeing Bisley do some Mike Mignola cover, instantly recognizable as Mike Mignola. But seeing Simon Bisley, I think it's Bisley, do Batman and Judge Death, or Judge Dredd, Judge Death in the same book, you're like, oh my gosh. But the story didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really grab me. It was just oozing Bisley style, though. Judge Dredd is awesome. Yeah, I would love to see his process because it looks like he uses like, obviously he's painting, right? But it looks like he uses like airbrush, reference, stylize, like talking about stylization. We don't see many artists do this kind of stuff for mainstream books anymore. The trend right now is very realistic, a lot of motion blur and like lighting, like very complicated lighting, very realistic lighting in the books that are popular right now. But less stylized fun. But this is a really serious story. Yeah, there's like comical moments in it, but this style works very well for this kind of story. It's like a horror kind of vibe to it. So yeah, it's just fun. It's a fun conversation to have, like stylization versus not stylized. Like how far is too far? What kind of stories can you tell in it? Like that's creepy as all craziness, but that's really stylized. It's amazing. So yeah, he did this whole. He did this. This is a collection of Batman and Judge Dredd, and they compiled several like one shots together. So this was the Simon Bisley one, and then the other artists they had were. This Batmobile is amazing. The other artists they had were amazing. I love his colors too. Bisley's colors. It's great. Like feels like Bill Sienkiewicz was in this world. Oh, one of the books that I want to either review or do a live stream on is Havoc and Wolverine. Do you guys remember that miniseries that came out in I want to say in the 90s? That one was by Kent Williams, painter, and oh my gosh, I gotta look it up. John J. Muth, two incredible comic painters, and they combined. That was a great series, but that was like a version, like when talk about painted comics and style versus realistic, like they took the stylization but applied it so realistically, so that's on another different scale. Man, I love comics. It's so crazy. It can be anything. Oh boy. Sorry, just got caught up in it for a second there. But like their painting is so realistic looking, but they stylize it for the comics that they produce. That's why I want to talk about those books in a future stream, because it was unlike anything else out there. The characters looked so real, but they were still so stylized. So yeah, that was a great series. And then to have those two paired up with each other, John J. Muth and Kent Williams. And I believe one of them drew all the Wolverines and one of them drew all the Havocs. I don't know. It's some insane process. So then this one is drawn by Cam Kennedy. And Cam Kennedy is a great artist. He's done, a lot of work. I think he did some Star Wars books, speaking of Star Wars. Art and Times of J. Ryan says is fantastic medium for story. It really is. Like, I've loved comics most of my life. And the older I get, I mean, I appreciated them big time. And they changed my life as a kid. And, like, kind of set me on this trajectory of my career path. But now the older I get, the more I appreciate just, like, how incredible of a storytelling medium. Like you said, Art and Times of J. Ryan. What an incredible storytelling, and how unlike any other medium it is. It just blows me away. So when I see it like utilized well and to its full potential, and there's only a handful of people, comic creators, who I feel like can do that, like full potential, then you're just like, oh my gosh. And then this is, I don't know this artist, Carl Critchlow and Dermot Power. Dermot Power does a lot of concept work for movies. I think he did a lot of work on like the Star Wars movies, the new ones. So yeah, these guys paired up on a painted version of Batman and Judge Dredd. Totally different from Bisley. Less stylized than Bisley, but still stylized. Amazing. I've never been a huge Judge Dredd fan, so I didn't know all the lore and backstory. Glen Fabry is another one that did this issue here. So it's just cool to see all these painted guys, these like British painters, combine Batman and Judge Dredd. It was a fun compilation. That's insane. Like, that's realistic. That's stylized. All in one picture. I thought there was one more artist at the end. Like, yeah, that's realistic. Like realistic rendering, but stylized expression. That's cool. It's like there's these meters in art, and you can kind of, oh, I'm gonna scale up the, increase the realism. I'm gonna decrease the stylization or change it. Hey, Shanth, man, what's up, dude? We were just talking about you, trying to get you some IT help for your streams. Who in Rhode Island do we need to call to get you better streaming results? Mark's Music Obsession is willing to be your customer service. How you doing, man? Loving your streams recently. And I think you have a pizza one coming on Thursday, right? Pizza Live. What movie are you doing this week? I love that movie that you did last time, the werewolf one. Well, I mean, they're all like werewolf ones, right? It wasn't The Howling. What was the one called? I can't remember. But that was a good one. That was a great movie. I'd never heard of that movie before. So that was fun. For those of you who have not joined Sean's Pizza live streams, do so. Like I had mentioned earlier in the stream, the way that he has it set up, so it's like a watch party. But then Sean's always also done this great thing where he has like screenshots, and then he's like verbally talking about what he's seeing, so you can know exactly where he is while he's watching it. In case he's got a time code going too, so that you can kind of sync up, but you also know where he is based on kind of his running commentary. And it was fun. The last movie that you did was fun. Howl, that was it. Yep. I don't think I saw that one. Sean's Geek Squad assemble. Yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, that was really fun. Just being able to watch that and experience that movie, and it was great. It was a really, really fun time. So for those of you who haven't done it, definitely recommend. I think all of you guys have been in that stream anyway, but definitely do it if you haven't. And I think you're doing that every Thursday. Is that right, Sean? We have to do. Yes. Okay. I was wondering how we were going to do that. Shanta and I have been talking about Pride of the X-Men, about how much we love it and how it's amazing in light of like X-Men 97, that new series coming out, which I really like the first 2 episodes. I think they have 4 episodes out. I really, really like the first 2 episodes. The 3rd and 4th episode, not so much. So yeah, we'll see. It's kind of like a coin toss right now. At the beginning, I was like, wow, they're coming out strong. This is great. It feels great. It looks great. But then 3rd and 4th episode, the writing, yeah, I didn't really like. I kind of fell asleep when I was watching those. I don't know. But I'll keep watching it. But anyway, in light of that series coming out, we were talking about Pride of the X-Men, which was the original pilot that they had done, X-Men cartoon pilot that they had put out there in the 80s. Which I'd argue is still the best animated X-Men out there. So Shanta and I were talking about like, oh, we should stream this somehow, but I didn't know how we would do it without getting. And at the same time we were talking about doing that was the same time I got my first YouTube strike for trying to play something streaming. So I was like, how are we going to do that? But now that you talk about how you do your Pizza Live stream, that would be amazing. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That'd be so fun. Because that is a great episode to walk through and talk about and geek out about. Mark's Music Obsession said, I usually make about half of the movie before I crash. That's because Sean's starting at like midnight. I mean, come on. Every Thursday. Okay, cool. Every Thursday, Sean does it. I have not. I will be there eventually, I swear. Good. Yeah, check it out, Emo Trash. You'll love it. It's just a fun watch party experience that you can only do in some crazy place like YouTube. So it's worth it. It's really fun. And Shant does a great job of putting that on. X-Men 89. X-Men 89. Oh, that's when Pride of the X-Men came out. 89. Wow. My gosh. Yeah. It's good. It's still good. It's still good. It hit all the right buttons. It was really good. All right. Well, that is what I've got today. I do need to get going. I have to get editing on those videos that I promised you guys. And then I do plan on streaming probably tomorrow because it's Wednesday, and I want to share with you the books that I got last week and also the book or two that I might pick up this week. So more than likely, unless another eclipse happens that will destroy our world, more than likely I'll be streaming again tomorrow. So stay tuned. Notification for Mark Music Obsession. Maybe if we yell loud enough, you'll find out that I'll be streaming. If I had to guess time, it'll be probably sometime in the afternoon, my time. So, or would it be the evening? It's going to be, yeah, it'll be afternoon or evening for me tomorrow, depending on how my day goes. I'm guessing afternoon. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully Mark's Music Obsession and Comrade Sammy, I think you said you had a couple, or Cranberry Langers had notification issues. Hopefully you will get notified. Otherwise we will shake our fist at YouTube and curse them for ever existing. Yep, it is the best. God bless, much love all. No, John, what a letdown. I'm disappointed later all. Thanks everybody that came. I'm not disappointed with John. I'm sure he's got a good excuse for not being here. But thanks everybody that came. Art and Times of J. Ryan. Shelby was here. American Discord. Cranberry Langers. Emo Trash. Shanthan Jetty. Art. Mark's Music Obsession. My man. Comrade Sammy first in chat. Stay tuned for the end credits. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 was here. He missed the bande dessinée, but maybe he'll catch it on the replay. And I think that's everybody. So is that everybody? Yeah. We'll give a shout out to John too, just because we love John. See you guys later. I will catch you sometime tomorrow. And it was good seeing you guys all again. I really missed hanging out with you guys. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.